day everyone, I am Cristian Latera from CE12 and the subject that I choose is calculus and the topic that I will discuss today is chain rule.
What is calculus? Calculus. Calculus is a branch of mathematics that help us understand changes between values that are related by a function. Calculus, originally called infinitesimal calculus or the calculus of infinite decimals, is the mathematical study of continuous change. In the same way that geometry is the study of shape and algebra is the study of generalizations of arithmetic operations. Calculus. Is calculus easy? Calculus is really no harder or easier than the algebra or the pre-calculus classes that came before it. Calculus has two main parts. First is the integral. Integral, a branch of mathematics concerned with the theory and applications, as in the determination of lengths, areas, and volumes and the solution of differential equations, of integrals and integrations. Next is differential. Differential represents the principal part of the change in the function y equals to fx with respect to changes in the independent variable. The differential dy is defined by where is the derivative of f with respect to x and dx is an additional real variable so that dy is the function of x and dx. If you do understand what they are about, it is easy and fascinating. History of calculus. Calculus was created by Isaac Newton, a British scientist, as well as Gottfried Leibniz, a self-taught German mathematician in the 17th century. It has been long disputed who should take credit for inventing calculus first, but both independently made discoveries that led to what we know now as calculus. Calculus. Calculus, known in its early history as infinitesimal calculus, is a mathematical discipline focused on limits, continuity, derivatives, integrals, and infinite series. Isaac Newton and Gottfried Wilhelm Leibniz independently developed the theory of infinitesimal calculus in the later 17th century. By the end of the 17th century, each scholar claimed that the other had stolen his work, and the Leibniz-Newton calculus controversy continued until the death of Leibniz in 1716. So what is chain rule? Chain rule. The chain rule provides us a technique for finding the derivative of composite functions, with the number of functions that make up the composition determining how many differentiation steps are necessary. Definition of the chain rule. The chain rule states that the derivative of the fgx is fgx times gx. In other words, it helps us differentiate composite functions. We have here an example. Sine x squared is a composite function because it can be constructed as fgx for fx equals sine x and gx equals to x squared. We have another example here. We use chain rule to calculate hx, where hx equals to fgx. So below we have the solution. So the derivatives of f and g. So we have here for fx, it is equals to 6 and gx is equals to -2. So since the functions were linear, this example was trivial. Even though we had to evaluate f at gx equals to -2x plus 5, and didn't make a difference since f is equals to 6, not matter what its input is. Moreover, so in this case, if we calculate hx, we have here the answer equals to -12. So for the next example, we have here chain rule. Another type of chain rule. We use the chain rule to differentiate the rz equals to the square root of 5z minus 8. So we've already identified the two functions that we needed for the composition, but let's write them back down anyway and take their derivatives. So we have here the example. Before you answering it, you should know the formula so you could get the answer. So using the chain rule, we get this solution, and this is what we got using the. So why do we use chain rule? We use the chain rule when differentiating a function of a function, like f(g)(x) in general. We use the product rule when differentiating two functions multiplied together, like f(x) and g(x) in general. We have to use the chain rule to differentiate these types of functions. Why is the chain rule used? This rule is called the chain rule because we use it to take derivatives of composites of functions by chaining together their derivatives. The chain rule can be thought of taking the derivative of the outer function or the applied to the inner function and multiplying it times the derivative of the inner function. Thank you and God bless.